Let's get it. All right. We're going to do it. We're just going to do it. I can't remember if I said this on a video recently or if I just said it talking to somebody. I know I said it. I just don't know in what context. And, you may have noticed that I haven't really talked a whole lot about Gospel Coalition lately. In fact, even on Twitter, I switched my name here from Rise and Fall of Gospel Coalition to A.D. Robles Media because I just hadn't really paid too much attention to them. Sure, I've a meme here and there, making fun here and there, stuff like that. And Gospel Coalition has put out some garbage lately. I mean, just pure, unadulterated filth Gospel Coalition has put out lately. And people keep messaging me, are you going to talk about the Ruth and Naomi thing? Are you going to talk about this? Are you going to talk about that? And I just kind of haven't done it, And part of the reason I've realized is that it's like punching a guy with glasses, right? Or beating up a nerd or something like that. It's like, you beat up a nerd and, hey, sure, it might be fun for a while, but eventually there's no challenge there. It's just like, it doesn't do anything for you. It's not fun anymore. You beat up a bully, a big tough guy, and it's like, yeah, I got that guy. But like, there's no pleasure beating up on a guy. You can't punch a guy with glasses. You know what I mean? Now, you shouldn't be beating up anybody, so don't take that metaphor too seriously. But I don't know. I'm just kind of over it, and I feel bad because I know you guys like that content. I started the podcast, Rise and Fall of Gospel Coalition, and a couple people, I had a few interviews lined up that ended up canceling or not wanting to do it, and I just kind of lost steam on that, and I think I should pick it back up because it was very interesting to a lot of people. And we'll see what happens in 2023. I've got some other ideas for people I could interview or whatever, but in any case, but Gospel Coalition, I think we've all kind of figured them out at this point. I saw this hilarious article that they put out about 8 ways that Gospel Coalition will continue serving you. And it goes into these things, we're going to help you love the church and strengthen the local church. And it references like this book by Jonathan Leeman. And it's like, Jonathan Leeman, this guy really has some cojones to write a book about rediscovering church when he was the guy that was like, no, don't go to church. It's too dangerous. The COVID, by the way, get vaccinated. But it's too dangerous to go to church because it's dangerous. The government says it's dangerous to go to church. And it was just like, this guy has some audacity. He wrote a book and he's getting paid and he's charging you money to tell you how to strengthen and love the church when he was the guy attending Black Lives Matter rallies, but telling you it was too dangerous to go to church. And it's like, these guys they got some real cojones, man. They got some real audacity, some real chutzpah, I think is the right word for it. They're going to train you to know and love the Bible. They're going to help you navigate pop culture and difficult things. And he talks about, that ridiculous thing. What was it? The good faith debate series. And every one of those good faith debates just pushes the narrative leftward. And they're telling you, they're selling that as we're helping you navigate they're very hard issues, divisive issues, and it's pop culture, and we're going to help you. We're going to do it in a fair way. Good faith debates, and every single one of them is pushing you more and more leftward, making you more progressive, making you less, making you have a less of a Christian worldview than you ever did before. It talks about giving you a global perspective. Who cares? We're gonna Gospel Coalition. They point you to good books and they point you for books to avoid. You should avoid certain books. They're bad, and they're racist. And we're gonna tell you which ones are bad and racist. And it's like the whole goal of this. And I think they really get you right in section 3. This is, I think. This is what they really relish. They relish this role. They'll give lip service to, the church is the priority and stuff like that. The church is where you get your, the Gospel Coalition is no replacement for the church. Yeah, they'll give you lip service. But really what they relish is that this is what they say about themselves. A common sentiment we hear regarding TGC's value is that we provide trusted and timely, biblically sound commentary on the dizzying array of issues and narratives swirling around our fast-paced culture. In one year-end survey, a respondent said, TGC is a great resource for issues I don't have time to research myself, but want to understand better. Another said, Gospel Coalition brings me the words of experts, people who have time and knowledge to explain issues that I don't have the wisdom to interpret myself. So, sure, they'll give you lip service that the church is primary, the Gospel Coalition is no replacement for the church, but they understand that your job as a pastor is very difficult. And look, not everybody can afford to pay Docent Research Group to do their research. So here's some free research that we're going to give you for all the stuff you don't have time, Mr. Pastor, to talk about or to learn about or to study or to have an opinion on. We will give you the approved Gospel Coalition opinion, the safe opinion that will never ruffle any feathers, that'll never rock the boat, that'll never run contrary to what the government tells you to do. We will tell you what to think. That's what they want to do. They're like the Snopes for the Christian church. They're Snopes for the Christian church. And everybody knows that Snopes is just propaganda. They're the fact checkers of the Christian church. You know, they'll tell you what books are good and approved and what books you should avoid and have racism in them. They're the fact checkers of the regime for the Christian church. That's what Gospel Coalition sees itself as. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Michael O'Fallon told me that they were self-conscious about that. They wanted to be the Snopes. They wanted to be the fact checker. I can't remember if that was Michael O'Fallon or not. So if that wasn't you, Michael, sorry for putting words in your mouth. But at the time, I didn't quite understand what they meant. I understand now. Gospel Coalition is a well-funded, politically connected, and quite frankly, just overtly propagandized version of a discernment ministry. It's a discernment ministry. And so every time one of these losers starts criticizing discernment ministries or discernment blogs or discernment YouTube channels, just understand that they are discernment channels, but they're the gayest discernment channel, discernment ministry you could possibly imagine. Gospel Coalition is a discernment ministry, but it's the gayest one you can possibly imagine, all the way from their aesthetics to what they're teaching. And also, they overtly, promote, soft peddling homosexuality and stuff like that too. So they're even gay in the gay way. And so that's the reality about Gospel Coalition. When you read this and you see the things that they highlight, the worst parts of what they do are the things that they highlight. And they want you to support it. And, they make a lot of money. You look at these guys' budget. It's a huge budget that they have. They have a huge budget. And the thing is, though, they're a zombie ministry. And I think at the end of the day, the percentage of regenerate Christians that considers Gospel Coalition as a valuable, trusted resource, it's way lower than it used to be, way lower. Now, I'm not saying that everybody who likes Gospel Coalition is unregenerate. That's not what I'm saying. But the reality is that their numbers, you can always see this in the life of a YouTube channel. And actually, mine is in this category. I think my YouTube channel is kind of dying. And I'm okay with that because I never set out to be a YouTuber. I have a lot of unapproved opinions, and there's only so far I can get with that. But the reality is that you see what happens with a YouTube channel is they'll grow, and then they'll plateau. And they'll plateau, and then they'll start to slowly go down. And when that happens, that's a zombie YouTube channel. Now, they're still making money. They're still doing what they need to be doing. They still have a lot of viewers, but the beginning of the end has started. And with Gospel Coalition, the beginning of the end has most certainly started. I think that when you look at Gospel Coalition, what you're looking at is a relic. It's a relic. It's like a company that stopped being profitable, but it currently is being propped up by the Federal Reserve, borrowing money super cheap. And then what they do is they borrow money at a very cheap rate. And what they do is they buy their own stock to prop their stock price up. And so the more that they buy their stock back, the stock price goes up. And it looks like they're a successful company because their stock price is going up. But really, the only reason the stock price is going up is because they're able to borrow money at negative interest rates. It's not because they're producing more. It's not because they're effective in the marketplace. It's just because they're able to borrow money at 0% interest. And so the stock price keeps going up. And it's like, wow, this is a successful company. But really, it's not a successful company. It's dying. And the minute that it costs money to borrow money, that stock price is going to tank. That's what we're seeing in the marketplace right now. And that's what Gospel Coalition is. It's a zombie ministry. It's a zombie ministry. You're sure, their stock price still looks pretty high, but at the end of the day, it's based on nothing. And the more and more that they promote idiotic things like Ruth and Naomi means we should have gay civil unions. That's the gospel issue. That's what people wanted me to comment on. It's like, does that even need commenting on? Like, Joe Carter, are you insane, dude? Are you out of your mind? He's not out of his mind, though. And you have to understand this. He's not out of his mind. He's doing exactly what he's at Gospel Coalition to do. He's carrying water for the regime. He's a propagandist, and so he's promoting propaganda. And so his assignment this time was to normalize gay civil unions and gay marriage, because at the end of the day, civil unions is not even on the table. Gay marriage is. But if civil unions are okay, then who's going to really fight against gay marriage? Nobody. If you already agree civil unions are fine, I mean, what's the difference? A gay marriage is one step further. Who cares? Civil unions aren't fine, and neither is gay marriage. And Ruth and Naomi, the story of Ruth and Naomi, obviously doesn't. There's no application to gay people having a civil union. Obviously, it doesn't need comment. It's ridiculous. But of course, if you look at Gospel Coalition as a gay discernment ministry, it makes sense. And so this is the thing. I'm not retiring from commenting on Gospel Coalition. I'm going to. I just need to recharge my batteries here. I've kind of lost the taste for it. I guess I need to recharge my battery so I can beat up those weak kids, Oh man. But yeah, it's just so ridiculous, Again, I think that regenerate Christians that still consider Gospel Coalition one of those resources where you're like, you can read anything from there and you can trust it. That percentage is going down every day, and it's going down more and more and more. And you know what? When it comes to the stock market, right? It's costing more money to borrow money now, and so now you see the stock market starting to tank. This is what the reality of the stock market is. Actually, it's not even. The reality of the stock market is much worse than what we've done in 2022, which it's tanked in 2022. The reality is much worse, though, but we're starting to get closer to reality with an actual real interest rate where companies can't borrow money for free to prop up their stock price. Like, we're starting to see, who's really swimming naked and who's not. The tide has gone out. Some people have been, closed, some people haven't. But you couldn't tell when the tide was in. Now the tide's going out, and now we're seeing, all right, who's skinny dipping and who's not. That's kind of what we're seeing here when it comes to the stock market. And I think that the more time passes with Gospel Coalition, the more obvious this is going to be. That Ruth and Naomi thing, that is textbook liberalism. That's liberal Christianity 101 stuff. And Joe Carter is presenting it here as some kind of nuanced, awesome, gospel-centered position, and it's ridiculous. And the thing is, more people realize that this is textbook liberalism. More people every day realize it. And before long, I don't think it's going to be too long. Gospel Coalition is going to be looked at like the most liberal organization you can think of right now. Sojourners, whatever it is. That's how Gospel Coalition is going to be looked at. Everyone's going to know, oh yeah, what are we, Gospel Coalition? It's going to be a byword. It's going to be a byword. In many circles, it already is a byword. But I think before long, Gospel Coalition is going to be looked at exactly what it is. It's an anti-Christ ministry trying to get you to be as liberal as possible, not to obey Christ's holy law, and to try to make it pretend like that's actual true Christianity. That's what these organizations do. In any case, that's all I really want to say about this. I was going to go through all the points of this stupid article, but what's the point? I mean, who cares? Everybody gets it. I hope you found this video helpful. God bless.